This is 1160 AM KVCE. KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
The information provided during this broadcast belongs to the show host and is for general informational purposes only. Nothing that is discussed or taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information does not and is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, nor does receipt of or listening to the information provided constitute an attorney-client relationship.
Welcome to the Believers in Business Hour on KVCE AM 1160. It's time for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Stay tuned, get informed, and get educated about your legal rights when you or a loved one have been seriously injured or harmed by the conduct of someone else or at the hands of an insurance company. Brad Parker has focused his law practice exclusively on trial work since becoming licensed in 1985 and is board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And now, here's Bar Talk with Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody tuning in this afternoon for Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker. If you got any kind of questions or legal issues pending and want to get some free advice or find out how something works, feel free to call in at 214-787-1160. If you've got questions, we'll try to get you some answers. As I always say, if I can't help you, I will do my darndest to try to find somebody who can. You know, I was driving to lunch today, and I was going down the street, and I saw a new law firm had moved into some offices down the street from mine. And on the sign, it said personal injury, family law, probate, and criminal. And I kind of giggled to myself. I've said this on this show a million times, but if you ever do need a lawyer, I hope that you will take the time to really research one out. What you don't want to do is go to a shop that one size fits all, because as my dad used to say, you're a master of everything, or journeyman of everything, master of none. Basically meaning they're probably competent and good at what they do, but they're not going to be as good as someone who does nothing but family law, nothing but criminal law, nothing but probate work, or nothing but personal injury. And of course, when you do shop for an attorney and you need an attorney, I would highly recommend that take the time not only to see what the qualifications are of the attorney, make sure that they do that kind of work, and look to see if they're board certified in that particular area in which they practice. Are they board certified in personal injury trial law? I've been board certified since 1997, and basically what that means is you pass the bar, but if you specialize in a particular area, you have to demonstrate a particular competence in that area by sitting down and taking another exam, if you will, another test to prove your proficiency in that area and get your board certification. So if you're in the need for an attorney, I hope that you will take the time, especially with the internet. It's so easy to look up the credentials and see what kind of history, see what people are saying. Do they have any reviews? That may be the greatest thing is what the clients are saying about them. Ask around, see if your friends and neighbors know of any attorney. Don't take just the first attorney that you come to. I got a very dear friend whose father recently passed away, and the estate is just all messed up, and that was primarily due because he didn't believe in going to see a lawyer ahead of time. But now, it's up to the family, and they found a lawyer down the street that was convenient and easy to use. And as it turns out, 6 weeks later, they still don't have what they're trying to do. And got a call the other day saying, "Hey, I think we want to go see that guy you told us about." So in any event, it will make it's worth its weight in time and money to be sure you get with the right lawyer. I've been trying to talk about topical subjects every week during the program, and of course, the big issue out this week has been the Rick Perry indictment. Unless you've been living underground, I think everybody understands that Governor Rick Perry was indicted. There was an indictment handed down last Friday, basically 2 counts of, in essence, abuse of official capacity and coercion of a public servant. And, of course, he walked into the sheriff's department or the jail, I believe it was yesterday, and turned himself in, was booked accordingly, and was, did the walkthrough, of course, that's really no special treatment. Many people who are indicted, who have lawyers, are granted the opportunity to do a walkthrough to where the bail will already be set, or they'll be out on personal recognizance. They'll get their photograph made, courtesy of the county, fingerprinted, and then released. The interesting thing that in following this is that Perry vows to fight. Of course he does. You would expect him to. But in doing so, they want to turn the conduct of the district attorney, Rosemary Lemberg. They want everyone to focus on that. And they also want to say this, was a constitutional, completely legal use of his constitutional authority to line item veto. And what I want to talk about today is all of that's right. However, that's not what the indictment is about. And as in anything in life, it's a little, punch and move. In other words, what I think was going on here, what a lot of the press is picking up on and following, wrongly, I would submit, is that this is somehow about the DA, Rosemary Lemberg, and that this is somehow about the exercise of his constitutional authority to line item veto. That's not what this case is about at all. This case is about the impermissible use of the power of his office in order to, in effect, try to blackmail a elected official into resigning, and if she wouldn't, to withhold funds from the public integrity unit. And I think when we talk about the facts and you learn more, regardless of which side you may fall on this issue ultimately, you've got to understand that there is a lot more at stake here than 5-second sound bites that everybody wants to put up on the websites or on the news medias or the press conferences. And when you learn a little bit more about what's going on, you'll understand, and I think you'll have a little better faith in the integrity of our judicial, our criminal justice system, and how it works. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today is the process, what the process was. Because I'll submit to you, and I firmly believe the process is working. This is not a political stunt. This is not a way to resolve political differences, as Perry has, I've heard him say on some of his newscasts or press conferences, which is kind of ironic. We'll get into that. When Perry came to office in 1990, he used an FBI investigation against Jim Hightower to his benefit to try to get political office, and it worked. He and Karl Rove put together a brilliant campaign that ultimately worked. We'll talk maybe a little bit about that if time permits. But what I do want to do is just kind of start at the beginning, what all started, and kind of talk about the timeline of what happened and kind of put everything in perspective. I was in Austin in the spring of 2013. I, at the time, was president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association and was living in Austin, lobbying the legislature on various civil justice issues. And I remember waking up the morning of April 12th, I guess it's really April 13th, and reading or hearing the headlines that the district attorney, Rosemary Lemberg, had been arrested the night before for DWI. And as the day progressed and the more news came out, we all began learning just how absolutely scandalous and horrible she had behaved. A caller had called 911 anonymously and reported someone driving erratically out on the outskirts of Austin. Some police officers found her, sheriff's deputies found her in a parking lot with a bottle of vodka in the front seat. If you haven't seen the videos, I don't know how you've avoided not seeing them. Her behavior was reprehensible. There is nobody who can honestly watch that and not think so. She was clearly intoxicated, and ultimately the drug test showed that, or the blood test showed that she was 3 times the legal limit. When she was checked into the jail, she was belligerent. She had to be restrained, and everything went from there. When we come back from break, I'll take you through that timeline, and we'll kind of put the things together and put everything in perspective. Glad you're listening in this afternoon. This is Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, AM 1160 KVCE.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
Tune in Thursday evenings 5 to 6 as KVCE's Believers in Business presents the Family Law Hour with attorneys Frank Skipper and Donna Smith, discussing divorce, child support, custody, mediation, adoption, and all other areas of family law. Both Frank and Donna focus their practices exclusively on family law. That's the Family Law Hour, tomorrow at 5, right here on AM 1160 KVCE, and online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the David Wynn Law Firm and the law offices of Donna J. Smith.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. When you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Call 817-503-9200. ParkerLawFirm.com. Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
Boss Academy Radio wants to give back to its listeners. For the first time in 10 years, Tony Robbins is coming back to Dallas to help you unleash the power within.
Are you going to give up or move forward? Are you going to blame somebody or are you going to change something? Whatever you do is going to shape your destiny.
Turn fear into power and transform everything from finances to your relationships to your health. This isn't hyper motivation, but a life-changing event hosted by a man who has helped transform and influence the lives of more than 8 million people worldwide. When registering to attend this powerful, life-changing 4-day seminar, get your special Boss Academy discount. All you have to do is dial 858-535-6220 and tell them Boss Academy sent you. Unleash the power within, where the impossible becomes possible with Tony Robbins Live, October 23rd through the 26th at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, 650 South Griffin Street in Dallas. Visit kvceradio.com or call today and mention Boss Academy, 858-535-6220. That's 858-535-6220.
American Leak Detection.
Will, I need help. My water bill looks outrageous, but I haven't been doing anything different. Man, I really think I might have a leak somewhere in my house. The only thing is I live out in West Fort Worth.
Brad, no need to panic. So you live out in Tarrant County? That's why we've got Fred Thompson here for you.
You bet. In American Leak Detection of Fort Worth, we have been finding and repairing concealed leaks for decades now. And me and my guys out here on the western side of the Metroplex are here to do just that for you.
Fred is one of the best, and American Leak Detection has got all of North Texas covered, from Weatherford to Waxahachie or Terrell to Texoma.
This is great. Having American Leak Detection all the way out here in the Fort Worth area to fix the plumbing leaks in my home or pool, I'm so excited. Can I please sing the jingle?
No.
We need to protect our image.
Go to alddfw.com. That's alddfw.com.
American Leak Detection.
Real estate accounts for more millionaires than any other investment vehicle. Lifestyles Unlimited is an education and mentor group that for over 23 years has taken people by the hand and taught them how to build wealth and passive income streams. Our students have won Investor of the Year awards 8 of the last 8 years. We offer a free workshop for anyone considering investing in real estate. 866-945-6565. That's 866-945-6565. Or visit lifestylesunlimited.com. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. lifestylesunlimited.com.
This is 1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the Rick Perry indictment that came down last Friday. There's been a lot said about the indictment. The Perry camp is trying to, obviously they're coming out full force and swinging. They want to focus the attention on DA Rosemary Lindbergh and her conduct the night that she was arrested for DWI. And in fact, have directed everybody to the websites and the YouTubes of her behavior, which by all accounts was reprehensible and embarrassing. There's no question that what she did was improper. Of all people who should be on their best behavior if they get arrested, it ought to be the district attorney. And so if you've got some comments you want to make as we go along, please feel free to call in. We're at 214-787-1160. I'm Brad Parker, and this is Bar Talk. And as I was saying, it all began the night of April the 12th, I believe it was, when the DA, Rosemary Lindbergh, was arrested. We talked about her conduct. She had to be physically restrained. A spit mask was put on. I mean, it was bad. I don't see how it could get any worse, how she could have made things any worse for herself than what this, and she's, I'm sure, highly embarrassed. But she immediately, on about 1 week later, she immediately asked for a trial. She pled guilty. The judge sentenced her on her first conviction of a DWI to 45 days in jail, which she began serving immediately. She was handcuffed right there in the courtroom, let out, and began serving her 45 days. During her time in jail, about within a couple of week or so, she wrote a letter of apology. She apologized for her misbehavior and the disrespect that she showed the officers and jailers who were taking care of her. But she also signaled that she fully intended to stay on as the district attorney and complete her 4-year term that she had just been elected to about 9 months earlier. About June 10th, so we got about 6 weeks later, the session is winding down, and Perry, I guess by that time I can't remember if the session was actually over. It was over, I think. I can't remember if there was a special or not. But Perry threatened to veto funding for the Public Integrity Unit. And this is what you need to understand if you don't. Travis County is a little different than the rest of the DAs across the state because they've been given a constitutional power to investigate corruption, political corruption by elected office holders of statewide office holders. And the district attorney's office has that power in Travis County to perform that investigation. And it is called the Public Integrity Unit. And I believe, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it has about a $7.3 million budget above and beyond what the county pays for their county district attorney, DA's office. And it has about, I want to say, before Perry vetoed the funding, 47 prosecutors and investigators. So this is the Public Integrity Unit, has been around for, I was trying to find out exactly how long. I think it may have been created under Ronnie Earl's reign as district attorney. But I did see that, let me find that number here, of the prosecutions that the PIU has done over its time, it has prosecuted a lot of people, but only 17 public office holders or elected office holders. And of those 17 office holders, 13 have been Democrats. So by and large, if my numbers are right, and again, I was in a hurry this afternoon, but I believe those are accurate numbers, it looks like the overwhelming number of crop prosecutions by this unit over the last couple of decades of public elected officials has been of Democrats, not Republicans. So, in any event, Perry threatens to veto the funding for the Public Integrity Unit unless Rosemary Lindbergh resigns. And she refuses, says absolutely will not do it. And 10 days later, on June 14th, Perry vetoed the funding for the Public Integrity Unit. Now, he's clearly within his right to do so. Where the line really got crossed is that he was trying to coerce, or it's alleged, a public official into resigning, and somebody he is in a completely different public entity than he, who he does not have any power or control over as governor of the state of Texas. He doesn't have power over the DA as far as this is concerned. And he is trying to force or coerce her into resigning by the threat of using his power. And that's where the allegation is that he crossed the line. And there's also strong indication and strong news reports are coming out and it's always been circled around, that it's also probably focusing on his other conduct. He apparently dispatched a couple of staffers and some other folks to visit with the DA, Rosemary Lindbergh, on more than one occasion, basically saying he would reinstate the Public Integrity Unit's funding if she did resign, and basically would offer her a job or had a job lined up for her, which would pay even more money. I believe, if I've read the reports right, that the District Attorney Lindbergh absolutely did not want to go along with that because she believed it was illegal. So after Perry vetoes this line item, vetoes the funding for the Public Integrity Unit, a complaint is filed by the Texans for Public Justice. It is a watchdog group, if you will, that's been around since about 1997. And basically what Texans for Public Justice do is they track the influence of money and corporate power in Texas politics. In other words, they follow the money, see who's getting paid for what, and what legislation happens, and the corporations and corporate power that's involved in it. On June 26th, they filed, through its executive director or leader, Craig McDonald, they filed a complaint with the Travis County District Attorney's Office, accusing Governor Perry of coercion and abuse of power, and asked for a full investigation. Within just days, on August 19th, just within about 2 weeks after this complaint is filed. Now, keep in mind, the events started unfolding in April, and by August, 4 months later, we have a special prosecutor who is appointed to investigate Perry's conduct in this whole matter. And, you know, you've probably heard that this is Democrats. This is just a political witch hunt. This is trying to resolve political disputes by criminal processes. What you need to keep in mind and what you need to know is that all of the people involved in this so far have been Republicans. Every county has, or I'll say every county, every administrative region, judicial district region in Texas, and I believe there's 13 of them, have what we call an administrative judge. And it's one of the judges who is elected, but the governor gets to appoint the administrative judge for that judicial district region. In Tarrant County, it is David Evans. In Travis County, it happened to be a judge by the name of Burt Richardson. I'm sorry, that's not Burt Richardson. It was, I can't find his name right now. But in any event, it was a judge that was appointed by Perry to be the administrative judge. And so when the complaint comes in, he needs somebody to handle this matter. And the judge, the administrative region judge, decides that he's going to appoint Judge Burt Richardson, who is a retired judge out of San Antonio. And so Judge Richardson then appoints a special prosecutor because the Travis County DA's office recused themselves from doing anything, and he appoints a man by the name of Michael McCrum, who is a former federal prosecutor, to be the special prosecutor in this case. I'll tell you more about Mr. McCrum here in a moment when we come back, but know that he was approved by both of our Republican senators as U.S. Attorney for the Western District. He had to withdraw his name because of the gridlock and he couldn't get appointed, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. This is Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker. You're listening to AM 1160 KVCE. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
You're listening to 1160 AM KVCE.
Hello, everybody, from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's Notre Dame football. Today, the #1 game in the nation.
Notre Dame football is back.
Sacked by a great Notre Dame defense. Intercepted again. Finding a way. Breaks into open field.
35 to 30.
Inside the 10. He's heading to the goal line.
For a touchdown,
Notre Dame.
The Irish return to reclaim college football's crown. Listen all season long on your home for Notre Dame football.
Right here on AM 1160. See a full season schedule at kvceradio.com/sports.
Hoorah, veterans. It's about time our troops have a voice. Kilroy's Conversation is that voice. This is Major Andrew White, a veteran of the United States Army for 19 years. A father, a husband, a dedicated American to serve in his country along with the millions of other veterans. This is a show that discusses VA benefits, job training, medical needs, and more for today's veterans. So join me, Major Andrew White, on Kilroy's Conversation.
So tune in Sunday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. right here on AM 1160 KVCE.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here with an important message. If you or your business have years of unfiled tax returns, if you're being audited, worse yet, if you owe the IRS money, they have virtually unlimited power to garnish your wages, levy your bank account, even seize your home or business. But the game changes when you have a team of true professionals on your side, like the experts at Optima Tax Relief. With over 250 dedicated staff, Optima is the nation's premier tax resolution firm. Their team of attorneys deliver results and will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement. They can also introduce you to the Fresh Start Initiative. That's the official IRS tax debt forgiveness program, which could significantly lower your debt. Nobody is more effective at resolving complicated tax cases than the team at Optima Tax Relief, and they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If a fresh start is what you need, Optima is who you want.
Call 800-711-5743. That's 800-711-5743. 800-711-5743.
You either have it or you don't. If you've got it, flaunt it. Some men do, some men don't.
Do you have Elan, that certain fashion-forward look? You're not going to find it at the club or at any other hair replacement studio because Elan is totally new and different. It's non-surgical hair restoration the way it's practiced in France. You'll find the Elan graft allows for unlimited styling options. Want your hair cut short and spiked? How about long and brushed straight back? You can't do that with ordinary hair restoration, but you can with Elan. If you've had it with cookie cutter hair replacement that makes you look like every other client, call today for free literature and see what Elan can do for you.
Elan, you either have it or you don't. Then get it.
Call now, 1-800-123-3000
1-800-123-3000. That's 1-800-123-3000.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. I went out on my own to start doing some personal injury work and what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives. And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
The Business Authority, 1160 AM KVCE.
Welcome back to Bar Talk with Brad Parker. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160.
What you say, I won't pay.
Welcome back. This is Brad Parker, and you're listening to Bar Talk. Before the break, we were talking about the timeline of how everything happened with the Rick Perry indictment. As you well know, he was indicted last Friday, 2 counts, abuse of official capacity and coercion of a public servant. He turned himself in, was fingerprinted, a mugshot was taken, and he was released yesterday. Of course, all the press around this matter, it is clear that the Perry camp is trying to focus attention on the conduct of Rosemary Lindbergh on the night that she got arrested. She's the Travis County District Attorney who was arrested for driving while intoxicated. And if there ever is a lesson or a primer on what not to do if you get arrested for DWI, watch Miss Lindbergh. It's a horrible lesson. She behaved extremely wrong, and she realized it. Turned herself or pled guilty, did 45 days in jail, but she refused to resign. And Perry said, if you do not resign, I am going to withhold funding for the Public Integrity Unit that is officed or operated through the Travis County Sheriff's Department. And, you know, one of the things that we were talking about is that Perry would like everyone to believe, and there's been some insinuation that this is just a ploy by the Democrats to oust Perry because, or embarrass Perry, or resolve political discrepancies with Perry because that's the only way they can get to him. Well, what I was pointing out before we went on break, that's not exactly correct. I mean, the Democrats weren't involved in this process from the standpoint of the major players. As I was saying earlier, the administrative judge for the 3rd Judicial District of Texas is a man by the name of Ray Stubblefield. And Judge Stubblefield was appointed. He is a Republican that was appointed by Perry. I believe he's a Republican, but he was appointed by Perry to be the administrative judge. He, in turn, named retired Judge Burt Richardson of Bexar County, who is a Republican, to handle the grand jury investigation. And then Judge Burt Richardson, because the entire Travis County District Attorney's Office recused themselves from handling this matter because of the obvious conflict of interest, named Mike McCrum as a special prosecutor. Now, Mr. McCrum had been, he's about a 25-year lawyer. He had been the former federal prosecutor who was appointed by George Bush Sr. when he was president. He was appointed to be an assistant federal prosecutor. He retired from that. He has been doing criminal defense work. He was appointed appointed, I guess is the right word, with the approval of both Kay Bailey Hutchinson and John Cornyn to be, or at least nominated, I should say, to be the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas. So you've got Republicans all the way through here, at least with McCrum, While some may argue he's a Democrat, he was appointed by a Republican president to be a prosecutor, and he was approved by our 2 Republican state senators at the time to be U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas. He ultimately withdrew his name from that running because of the gridlock in Congress, and nobody was getting appointed or the confirmation process just came to a grinding halt, and very frustrating for those judges involved and prosecutors, and he just ultimately withdrew. So you have then the facts that are being presented to a grand jury. And the grand jury, I don't know the makeup. I'm starting to see some stuff that are coming out on the grand jurors. But one interesting thing that we have in Travis County that, excuse me, that is not as used in some of the other counties is that this was a grand jury that was picked from the jury list. In many counties, the judge who handles the grand juries will say he'll pick a friend or someone who will then pick somebody else, and it's kind of put together by who you know rather than are you a voting citizen and you have a driver's license, and are you on the jury list? In Travis County, they don't use that system. All of these grand jurors listen to this evidence. They were on the grand jury, I think I saw, for about 5 months or longer. They listened to numerous witnesses come in, including the governor's staffers who supposedly went over and talked to Mrs. Lindbergh about resigning. So we don't know. The grand jury proceedings are totally secret. It is illegal for the grand jurors to divulge what they've heard. And we won't know what the evidence they heard or what they did or didn't see unless and until an actual trial takes place. I've heard lots of folks say, well, that'll never happen. I tend to think it will. If you really focus on the conduct that is being complained of in the indictment, you will see it's not because he just used the veto. It's because of the way he used that veto. He said, I am going to veto this unless you resign. And that's where you cross over the line and where you apparently can't go. And he clearly did. You know, one of the things that was really surprising to me during the press conference is Perry's threatening remarks, if you will, for lack of a better word, threatening those who brought this or started this campaign against him. I think what he said, he basically threatened retaliation for the people involved. That's just ridiculous. Why would you ever say something like that? It almost makes it sound like I did it. I've used my power, and I'm going to abuse my power again to get those who are trying to get me. That's just highly, I would suggest, improper, certainly questionable at best. You know, the other issue that he's been really trying to focus on and trying to drive people's attention to is these DWIs, that you know, she was clearly drunk, she violated the law, she's not fit for office. Well, that may or may not be true. You can have your own opinion about that. You know, certainly she did a horrible thing and she behaved very, very badly. But it's a little disingenuous for Perry to be focusing on someone's behavior or their DWIs when he doesn't uniformly do that across the board. There have been many state legislators during the, 14 years that Perry has been governor who have been found or been convicted of DWI or arrested for DWI, and he doesn't ask for their resignation. And specifically, there have been 2 other district attorneys who have been involved in DWIs and other questionable behavior that he didn't ask for their resignation. And specifically, one was Rick Harrison out of Kaufman County. Mr. Harrison was arrested in 2009 and ultimately convicted of DWI. It's my understanding that he actually hit another car while he was driving under the influence. And ultimately convicted, and he lost the reelection. What is also interesting about it is that that was his second conviction for DWI. He was originally arrested in 1994, apparently, and convicted at that time as well for DWI, yet Mr. Perry did not seem too concerned about that DWI and sought his resignation. Then there was the case of a Swisher County District Attorney Terry McErchin of Swisher County in 2003. Swisher County is there north of Lubbock. It's Tulia, Texas, basically. What's very interesting about McErchin, he was arrested in New Mexico, swerving through traffic, was arrested. He basically wound up pleading guilty, or not pleading guilty, but he was convicted of a DWI, from what I understand. The other interesting thing about him is that he was involved in the Tulia drug bust. If you remember back in 2000, I can't remember the exact time frame, there were a large number of the African-American community in Tulia, Texas was arrested and swept up on a drug bust. As it turns out, the arresting officer and the officer who primarily ran that operation perjured himself and, with the help of the district attorney, had prosecuted all these people. And Perry actually issued 46 pardons a few months after the DA's arrest in Swisher County for DWI. Yet, after all the shenanigans that's going on in Swisher County, and then the guy gets arrested for DWI, Perry never asked for his resignation. So the fact that he is saying, well, this is, unacceptable behavior, well, yeah, it may be, but he has certainly not been uniform in any shape, form, or fashion when it comes to district attorneys being involved in DWIs and asking for their resignation. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the other ironies about this matter and maybe what was motivating Rick Perry, in part at least, to withhold the funding for the PIU, the Public Integrity Unit. Stay tuned with me. Be back in just a few minutes. This is Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, and you're listening on AM 1160 KVCE.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE.
Ow! Stupid bugs! Ow!
If pests are pestering you this summer, give Alley Cat Pest Control a call. A top performer in the pest control industry for over 25 years, offering the most comprehensive pest control services to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and surrounding counties. Alley Cat Pest Control is dedicated to providing a wide array of quality eradication services to apartment complexes, manufacturing facilities, food industry facilities, churches, and residential properties. Our technicians are trained specialists providing our clients with timely, effective pest control services, from termite and bug detection and eradication, including removal of spiders, wasps, bees, ants, roaches, and even vermin. There's no pest too big or too small for Alley Cat Pest Control. Protect your investment and don't let termites destroy your home. Don't let bed bugs ruin a good night's sleep. Give us a call today, 817-469-4849. That's 817-469-4849. Or visit alleycatpestandtermite.com.
This next song goes out to someone real special, web developers. You've developed a world wide web of convenience, and Geico.com is eternally grateful. Now everyone can pay bills, manage policies, maybe save big money on car insurance, all from the comfort of their desk chairs, recliners, and waterbeds. You're magicians with wands made of binary code, and that's why we're sending this next song out to you. For a free rate quote, visit Geico.com.
We're having a baby, so we gotta find a house.
Using Realtor.com put the process in my hands. Realtor.com is the most accurate home search site.
Accuracy matters.
The Realtor shows me things I wouldn't normally find on my own.
We worked with a realtor who knew the area.
A realtor made sure that we were the first ones in the door when a new house came onto the market.
There's no way I could have gotten through this process without him.
Realtor.com and Realtors. Together, we make home happen.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
The Texas Legends and Smith Thompson Home Security have announced the return and expansion of the Love Those Legends fan tour for the 2014-15 season. The tour, sponsored by Smith Thompson Home Security, will consist of 3 bus trips and 1 flight to the NBA Development League Showcase. Smith Thompson has now added a stop for a music and entertainment night as well. Legends fans will gear up for the season with a bus trip to Southside Ballroom in Dallas for the Need to Breathe concert on September 6th. Participants will be chosen from an Enter to Win promotion. For bus trips, 30 participants will be chosen per trip, while 6 lucky fans will win an all-expenses-paid trip to the showcase. The new music leg of the tour will host 15 winners who each get to bring a guest. Fans can register to win at texlegends.com or sign up during all 2014-2015 home games. These trips will provide a unique behind-the-scenes vantage point for fans. The winners of the concert experience will be chosen August 30th. For more information on the Love Those Legends fan tour, visit texlegends.com.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. I went out on my own to start doing some personal injury work and what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives. And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Well, welcome back. As you know, we're talking about the Rick Perry indictment. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's got an opinion about it. But what I've been trying to do today is not let my opinions come out too much, but at least talk about the facts, some more of the facts about this stuff instead of the hype. And as we were talking before we went to break, you know, the fact that Perry is trying to focus this on Rosemary Lemberg's conduct that night is just a smokescreen, I would suggest to you, and it's absolutely bogus as far as the allegations against him are concerned. It really has nothing to do. Agreed, her conduct was not appropriate and downright embarrassing and indefensible. Notwithstanding, it has nothing to do with the allegations that are being made in the indictment against Rick Perry. What the indictment is that he crossed the line. He essentially blackmailed a public official, an elected public official, tried to blackmail him to resign, and if they didn't resign, he would cut off their funding. And to focus it on the DA's DWIs, as I was talking before, you know, you've got 2 other DAs, one in Swisher County and the other one in Kaufman County. The Kaufman County, that was his second conviction. He wasn't asked to resign by Perry. The Swisher County, he was right in the mess of the Tulia drug bust, where Perry had to actually issue 46 pardons for the debacle that happened up there under that DA's watch. He gets arrested in New Mexico, DWI. He's not asked to resign by Perry. By the way, both of those DAs were Republicans. The only difference between them, other than their party affiliation, Rosemary Lemberg is a Democrat, they didn't oversee a public integrity unit, which happened to be, by the way, investigating one of Rick Perry's pet projects at the time. There's a Cancer Research and Prevention Institute, commonly referred to as CPRIT. And in essence, $3 billion a year is awarded to research and investment grants to startup companies that target cancer cures. It's one of Perry's, emerging tech fund type creations. It's very similar to that, very similar to the Texas Enterprise Fund. Those three institutions, by the way, together have a total of about $19 billion. That's billion with a B. That the governor and his cronies have a purview over, and they can kind of guide where that $19 billion gets invested. Well, part of the Public Integrity Unit's ongoing investigation during this period of time of all this turmoil was focusing on the way it was distributing its money. The entire scientific review team, many of them Nobel laureate scientists from around, resigned because they said millions were handed over or handed out through political favoritism. Texas newspapers began researching this issue, and there have been countless articles. Just go on, you can find them, that determined that much of the money from CPRIT wound up in projects proposed by campaign donors of guess who? Yep, you got it, Governor Rick Perry. In fact, one CPRIT executive was ultimately indicted by the Public Integrity Unit investigation for awarding an $11 million grant to a company without the proposal undergoing any type of scientific review as required by CPRIT. Many close to the investigations felt that it might be fixing to turn on Perry's involvement in CPRIT and at least investigate as to whether or not there was any wrongdoing going on there. Well, as the PIU was doing this investigation, some would suggest that Perry had another motive for defunding the PIU, and the Rosemary Lindbergh DWI gave him a political cover, if you will, although it backfired, to defund the PIU. There had been efforts on many occasions, and certainly after this, to move that Public Integrity Unit under some other control than the Travis County District Attorney's Office. Many people wanted it moved to the Attorney General's office, although that in and of itself would be extremely problematic, and that was derailed by the Republicans in the last legislative session towards the end. They actually tried to do that, but the Republicans derailed it because they understood that it was probably not legal and it would have a number of unintended consequences. So in any event, if Rosemary Lindbergh resigns, he could appoint his own person then to head up the Travis County District Attorney's Office and hopefully maybe derail some investigation there. I don't know, but those are certainly some of the facts that are flying around and people are talking about. The bottom line is this grand jury was formed to investigate the allegations against a Republican governor, and the men who were responsible for putting together the investigative arm were all Republicans. And certainly Mike McCrum is not demonstrated to be partisan one way or the other. He's got credentials on both sides, and like I said earlier, the Republican senators from the state of Texas certainly appreciated him and actually had nominated him or approved his nomination to become the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas. All that said is that I believe that whether these charges ultimately prevail in a court of law will yet to be seen. But we need to be sure and focus on the process and don't be led down the line that this somehow is just partisan politics gone amok or gone awry. It's not. There are some legitimate facts that support these indictments, and they need to be heard in a court of law ultimately. The standard of proof will be different, of course, in a court of law, and they'll all be aired publicly. And that's what we need to do. We don't need to be smoke and mirrored with sound bites on TV. I encourage you to keep an open mind about this. It's hard. I know, especially as such an issue as this, but do keep an open mind and watch the process work. It may not be the best process in the world, but it sure beats the ones that they have in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Mexico. I think we got probably the best, no question about it. Well, time flies when you're having fun. I want to thank Matt Broom, my producer, for keeping me on time today. I want you to stay tuned for the upcoming show. Tomorrow night we've got Frank and Donna who are going to be with Family Hour. Coming up next is Bloomberg News Hour. I hope that you'll stay tuned and listen to that. And tune back in next week from 5 to 6 on AM 1160 when I, Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need, present Bar Talk. Thanks for listening.